In the heart of Singapore's Marina Bay circuit, the drama of Formula One took a darker turn. Under the glowing city lights, George Russell snatched pole position for Mercedes, but it wasn't his stunning lap that caught the world's attention. It was the chaos that followed. Max Verstappen, just fractions of a second behind, was left fuming after claiming his final flying lap was deliberately ruined by none other than Lando Norris. The Dutchman's hand gesture, his frustrated team radio, and his chilling post-session warning, it will be remembered, sent shockwaves through the paddock. What was initially thought to be a simple on-track misunderstanding has now escalated into accusations of unfair play. Verstappen's anger wasn't just about a lost pole, it was about principle, respect, and the integrity of competition. Red Bull insiders claim McLaren's behaviour crossed the line, with Helmut Marko describing Norris's move as incomprehensible. So, what's going on behind the scenes? And could this trigger a fresh FIA investigation? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear could reshape the tension between these two powerhouse teams. If you don't want to miss any of the explosive stories shaping this F1 season, make sure to subscribe now. This one is far from over. The tension inside the Marina Bay circuit on Saturday night was unlike anything we've seen this season. Under the dazzling lights of Singapore, qualifying took an unexpected and explosive turn, one that left Red Bull and Max Verstappen seething with fury. What was supposed to be another showcase of raw speed and precision turned into a controversy that now threatens to overshadow the entire weekend. In the final moments of Q3, Verstappen was flying. His lap was building beautifully clean through sectors 1 and 2, carrying all the aggression and precision that define his driving. According to Red Bull's data, the Dutchman was nearly 0.2 of a second up on George Russell's provisional pole time. But as he entered the final corners, everything changed. In front of him, Lando Norris's McLaren appeared cruising slowly back to the pits after finishing his own lap. The timing couldn't have been worse. Verstappen had no choice but to abort his run. His rhythm shattered, his lap gone. What followed was pure frustration. As he crossed the line, Verstappen threw his hand in anger, gesturing towards the McLaren that had just cost him pole. His engineer, Gianpiero Lambiase, came on the radio with a sharp remark, "You can thank your mate for that." Moments later, Verstappen's tone in interviews made it clear this wasn't something he planned to forget. "That's what happens when there's a car just cruising 2 seconds in front, sir," he said coldly. "That's noted. It will be remembered." To Verstappen, this wasn't just a simple on-track misunderstanding. It was, in his view, an act of disrespect, a violation of the unwritten code among drivers during qualifying. At this level, everyone knows the golden rule: stay out of the way when another car is on a flying lap, especially in Q3, where only 10 cars remain and every 1/10 of a second matters. But Norris's actions, intentional or not, disrupted that code. Red Bull's senior advisor, Helmut Marko, wasted no time in going on the offensive. He called Norris's move incomprehensible and accused the McLaren driver of completely blocking Verstappen. "For Norris, there was nothing to gain," Marko said, "so I just don't understand it." To him, the implication was clear. Either Norris wasn't paying attention or McLaren were playing games. McLaren's camp, meanwhile, tried to downplay the drama. Norris dismissed the criticism entirely, saying, "They always complain. That's Red Bull." His tone was casual, but his words added fuel to an already blazing fire. It was the kind of response that only made Red Bull angrier, a perceived lack of accountability that now risks escalating this into a full-blown rivalry off the track. Analytically, Verstappen's argument holds weight. Singapore's Marina Bay circuit is one of the most difficult tracks in the world when it comes to maintaining clean air. The narrow streets mean that any car in front, even 2 or 3 seconds ahead, can cause turbulent airflow that robs the following driver of downforce. For a car like Red Bull's RB21, which thrives on aerodynamic stability, that loss can easily cost a few tenths, exactly the difference Verstappen needed for pole. FIA guidelines are clear. Drivers on cool-down laps must not impede those on flying laps. But enforcement, as always, is inconsistent. The governing body did not issue any penalty against McLaren after qualifying, which many inside the paddock saw as suspicious. Red Bull feel that the FIA's leniency towards McLaren this season has gone too far. Behind closed doors, the team reportedly asked for a review, citing onboard data that shows Norris failed to yield despite clear blue flag signals. This is where the political tension begins to surface. McLaren have been the dominant force in 2025, leading both championships, while Red Bull have been fighting to claw their way back. The rivalry has shifted from mutual respect to deep distrust. Verstappen's phrase, "It will be remembered," isn't just a warning to Norris. It's a declaration that Red Bull will not let this incident go unanswered. Whether that means a fierce on-track retaliation or renewed political pressure within the FIA remains to be seen. It's also worth noting how this incident affects the wider title narrative. Verstappen, chasing his 5th consecutive world title, sits 69 points behind Oscar Piastri and 44 behind Norris. Every race now is critical, and losing a potential pole in Singapore, a track notoriously difficult for overtaking, could be devastating. With Russell on pole and McLaren in 4th and 5th, Verstappen's frustration has strategic consequences. His threatened starting position leaves him battling through traffic at a circuit where clean air is crucial. Inside Red Bull, the mood after qualifying was described as tense and bitter. Laurent Mekies reportedly refused to comment immediately, while Helmut Marko stormed away from the pit wall. Verstappen, normally calm in public, looked visibly agitated, the kind of mood that often precedes a storm on race day. For a team that's already felt sidelined by the FIA in recent disputes, this latest incident feels like another attack on their credibility. Could McLaren have done it intentionally? It's difficult to prove, but strategically, it wouldn't be unheard of. Formula One has a long history of subtle qualifying tactics, slowing rivals, timing exits, or using track position to create traffic. Even if Norris didn't mean to, the perception inside Red Bull is what matters most. To them, this feels personal. And now, the FIA is caught in the middle. If they choose to ignore it, they risk appearing biased. If they investigate, they risk inflaming McLaren. Either way, this controversy could spill into the next rounds of the championship, adding another layer of intrigue to an already volatile season. For Verstappen, this moment might become a turning point, not just in the standings, but in mentality. Every champion needs an enemy to fuel their fire, and after Singapore, Max seems to have found his. The question now is simple. Will he use this anger to fight back and win, or will it deepen the fractures between Red Bull, McLaren and the FIA? So here's the question. Was this truly an innocent mistake by Lando Norris, or the beginning of a psychological battle to keep Red Bull in check? And if Verstappen strikes back on Sunday, will it be on the track, or through the politics of the paddock?